Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
As a painful chapter closes, how do we write the next?
Mr. Floyd's murder and the subsequent verdict has given us a doorway to walk through.
From politics to policing, we're taking a close look at what really needs to happen for change to occur.
We should be in a space where we recognize that we can only co-produce public safety if we do it together.
We're going to begin, though, with breaking news, and it is because of what isn't happening in the city of Detroit. Look at the walk-up vaccination sites, including the TCF Center, sitting virtually empty, signaling the city has a long road ahead to get shots into arms.
That's happening as the battle against COVID-19 still rages on. 5,584 new cases today alone, with the state reporting 45 new deaths in 24 hours.
And the issue has nothing to do with not having enough vaccine. 8 million doses have been delivered to Michigan, but now look at the gap between what's been distributed and what's been administered. Now about 2 million splitting the two. 6 million shots being administered thus far. Now, we visited a number of Detroit walk-up vaccine sites today. It's clear that demand for the vaccine for the virus is drying up in the city.
Yeah, and that's a huge concern with so many people unvaccinated. So what is the city going to do now? Hank Winchester joins us live tonight from the Farwell Recreation Center, which is on the city's east side. Hank, switching to walk-up appointments just doesn't seem to be working here.
It really hasn't caught on. And I mean, think about this, Kimberly and Devin. Remember a month ago, we were being flooded with emails and calls. How do I get an appointment? What can I do to get a shot in my arm? Well, now the city's made it easier than ever before. No appointment needed, not only at TCF, but at rec centers like this one here on the east side. But here's the reality. The crowds, they're just not showing up. To say the turnout during the last 2 days has been disappointing would be an understatement. The turnout has been dismal. It is a huge concern for leaders here in the city of Detroit.
Our goal is shots in arms, and the health department, our focus is providing information to Detroiters, so giving them enough information and knowledge so they make the best decision for themselves when it comes to getting the vaccine.
Yesterday, the city made getting a vaccination easier than ever before. You just walk in to not only the TCF Center, but also local high schools and many recreation centers. The full list at clickondetroit.com. But that experiment didn't really work because the turnout was so low.
It is concerning. I mean, there's a few layers to it, right? It's, we're working with educating the population, answering questions. We're doing a ton of teletown halls with residents and getting more information out there. And I think people just want answers.
The goal is simple, more shots into more arms. But if numbers don't jump up soon and quickly, the new plan may be bringing the vaccine right to Detroiters, to their neighborhoods, their homes, and their churches.
We want to meet people where they are. If we have to go to the bars and restaurants, we will be there. If we have to, go on the street, I mean, again, it's all about shots in arms.
Back out here live, we were at this rec center today, other locations throughout the city. In fact, this one closed down a little bit earlier this afternoon just because people were not showing up. The city not to the point yet of saying that, yes, we are going to go directly into neighborhoods, knock on doors with the vaccine, but we are told that is a plan that could take place later this year if more people don't make their way out to get vaccinated. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank.
Yeah, okay, Hank, thank you.
Now, more breaking news from Detroit. Mayor Mike Duggan will not face criminal charges for a controversy involving the nonprofit Make Your Date. That decision was a while in coming. It comes after a 2-year investigation by Attorney General Dana Nessel. Her office looked into claims that taxpayer dollars were steered to the nonprofit and that city emails about the program were deleted to hide a personal relationship between the mayor and the program's director. Coming up in less than 15 minutes, our Victor Williams has reaction from the mayor's office about today's announcement. Well, a day after his murder conviction, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin remains jailed tonight.
The Minnesota Department of Corrections released a new mugshot of Chauvin after he was convicted on all 3 counts. He will be sentenced in 8 weeks. Chauvin faces up to 40 years in prison for second-degree unintentional murder. That's the most serious charge. The Justice Department is launching an investigation into the practices of the Minneapolis Police Department. And while yesterday's verdict may have brought a sense of relief for many. Others see it as just the beginning for real change to happen.
Local civic leaders say a lot more work needs to be done, and we all need to play a role in it. Paula Tutman live tonight. You've been talking with a lot of people today, Paula, and they all had a rather common message for you.
Yeah, a lot of people. I'm pretty much all zoomed out here, but listen, this is the sense that I'm getting, and that is that there is an urgent feeling that there needs to be really action to make sure that this is not a one-off. In other words, this kind of conviction is the rule rather than the exception, and also an urgency in educating people in how to make change. For woman, mother, community activist Yodit Mesfin Johnson, there is no joy in today or the guilty verdict for Derek Chauvin as the murderer of George Floyd.
I appreciate that for some folks yesterday felt like justice. It didn't feel like that for me. It felt like we've got to keep pushing to live into the values that we espouse of this country: freedom, justice, pursuit of happiness, liberation. And we can't take our foot off the pedal of that.
Derek Chauvin had numerous complaints against him for excessive force and misconduct before his knee met the neck of George Floyd, according to police records.
Derek Chauvin had 17 priors to the murder of George Floyd. 17 priors. Why was he still on the police department?
Think back to all of the people that were killed by the stress unit in the mid-1970s. Those are people whose deaths have never been able to be acknowledged in the manner and form that George Floyd's death was.
When I ask experts from community leaders to everyday people, one word is constant to affect change: vote.
In Michigan, we are facing 39 bills of voter suppression.
The suppression of the vote, which is what these laws are to suppress the vote, are to make sure that the people who are elected are people who will side with no change to legislation that will protect Black and brown people from being shot and brutalized by police departments and law enforcement. It is to continue the status quo of the criminal justice system.
The fact that people who operate from, and I don't even know if they know it, operate from a framework of white privilege and white supremacy are seizing the moment because they are afraid of change. This is the voter suppression bills here in this state and around the country have to be stopped.
The people we put in office ultimately decide the direction of policing in this nation.
In this state, we need to look at Public Act 312, the binding arbitration law that permits police officers, the police unions, to have an enormous impact on how police discipline is handled.
Yeah, you know, the overwhelming people I speak to, they make it clear this is not about anti-police or anti-policing. It's about anti-bad policing. And that's what needs to change, guys.
All right, Paula, and as she just showed us, many hope this is the beginning of a lot still to come here, Kim.
But for real change to happen, laws need to change, and that includes the bill called the Floyd Act that's now made its way to the U.S. Senate. So if it passes, how could it change policing on the ground here in Metro Detroit and across the country? Our Larry Spruill joins us now with where the bill stands and what it could mean for the future. Larry.
Good evening, Kimberly and Devin. I spoke with multiple law agencies tonight about the George Floyd Policing Act and how that would affect them and their agencies. But first, we talked about the guilty verdict of yesterday and their reactions to that. Take a listen.
What was your initial reaction when you heard and saw the verdict in the Chauvin case from yesterday?
So I had a bunch of feelings, right? So, you know, I've always said I've been in the profession for 33, I've been a Black male for 56, right? So you can't separate those two things.
I think we got it right. I think justice was served.
It was a sigh of relief that the jury got it right, convicting him for murdering Mr. George Floyd on all 3 counts.
An overwhelming sigh of relief among several top leaders in our local law enforcement agencies, all of them echoing the justice system worked.
I felt relief in the sense that, quite frankly, the professional side of me was really worried about a different verdict and how folks would respond.
Now there's peace, and politicians in Washington, D.C. want to make sure things stay that way. That's why they're discussing the George Floyd Policing Act.
A lot of what's being called for in the George Floyd Policing Act is already in place.
We're talking about the use of excessive force, restrictions on no-knock warrants, body cams.
If there's an incident, we had the video evidence to support the incident. And that way, if we're wrong, we'll hold ourselves accountable.
And most importantly, the use of chokeholds.
I don't like the chokehold. I think there's other things we can do.
And I also reached out to Detroit Police and Dearborn Police Departments, and both of their top leaders say they agree with the George Floyd Policing Act. We are live in downtown Detroit tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Larry, thank you. And ahead at 5:30, the Detroit connection to the Chauvin case. Minnesota's Attorney General is a Detroit native, and you're going to hear from one of his brothers about why he thinks Keith Ellison was born for a moment like this.
Well, the snow was pretty at times, kind of strange at times as it blew around in big globs earlier today, but it caused some real chaos on the roads this morning.
You know, take a look at this. This is a 20-car pileup on the I-696 ramp to I-94, and this was just one of the many crashes we dealt with early this morning. So what we really want to know now is if we're done with all of this. Let's get over to Ben.
You know, Kim and Devin, yes, we are for a lot of us, but you'll see that there's still some flakes out there tonight. And you're right, that stuff was coming off the trees like dinner plates at times with the wind earlier today, but the 40s took care of it. 41 right now at Metro Airport. Some spots are still in the 30s, but we're getting cold tonight, even colder than what we woke up to this morning. Freeze warnings in effect through tomorrow morning. And look at Storm Tracker 4. There are some decent snow squalls down here in the South Zone right now. They're not going to last long, but they'll be around here at least through about sundown, and then we'll see dry conditions overnight. As the clouds clear out, that's what's going to lead us to the cold tonight. But believe it or not, 70s on the horizon, and the weekend has got a mess of rain in it. We'll look at the timing on that in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Ben, and we've got a lot more to come on this Wednesday. Let's check in with Sean Lay. Sean.
COVID and shutdowns absolutely devastating to our small businesses. One small business is hanging on by a thread in Shelby Township. And wait until you hear what happened when they finally did open.
Okay, Sean. And a fixture on Detroit City Council for 16 years is saying it's time to move on. Who decided today to not run for re-election and what they're planning to do next.
But first, new developments in the investigation into Mayor Duggan and his close ties to a nonprofit. We'll have more on that next.